I'm always a fan of kind of real old treasures that are being found all across the world. And I see these news reports all the time. And this one kind of came out. I mean, put it this way. When my wife comes to me and she goes, "Hey, did you see that pendant?"
Yeah.
I go, "Wow, this has made its rounds." She knew exactly what I was talking about. I knew exactly what she was talking about. But real quick, if you guys hadn't seen the news story, I think Tony's got a link he's going to put in the chat room. But real quick story here. In 1520, right, the rulers of France and England, they were declaring their friendship. They were trying to back each other, and also they were trying to win each other over with like their display of wealth. And they had this thing called the 18-day festival called the Field of Cloth and Gold. And it was like a summit between France and England with the two leaders, King Francis and King Henry VIII. There was feasts and jousts and wrestling matches and all kinds of entertainment going on. And they didn't spare, either one of them didn't spare any expense. The reports are that it cost the equivalent of $19 million for the 18-day event.
Jeez.
So they spent some money.
Quite
right?
a party. Yeah.
Quite a party. Right? And there was a rivalry between each one of them, and I don't think each one of them came away with that, with what they wanted to. But they said that was in the 1520, and there's not too many remnants of that are still around today. Very rare do finds, related to that ever come up. And I'll tell you what, man, in 2019, a 34-year-old cafe owner named Charlie Clark, who had recently taken up metal detecting as a hobby. Gotta love it, right? It's always the beginners.
Always.
Yeah, always.
He discovered this gold pendant and a chain in a field in Warwickshire. And it was a heart-shaped pendant, and it was emblazoned with intertwined initials H and K, as well as red and white Tudor rose and a pomegranate bush. Okay, this imagery is associated with Henry VIII and his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. And both sides bore the inscriptions toujours, which is a play on the French word for always. Okay, so here you have Henry VIII and his wife Catherine Aragon's, basically their initials on it, and the word always. And he said when he first discovered it, he screamed like a little girl, and he was just absolutely flipping out. Being a brand new detectorist, can you imagine like finding something? First of all, it's gold in the hole. Right, you would just start freaking out. But curators of the British Museum, they kind of first they thought it was fake. Okay, so they were first like, it's fake. You don't ever find these things at all, and they thought it was too good to be true, right? But after careful analysis, they dispelled any doubts about it, that it's absolutely authentic. And after they dated it and did all kinds of their studies on it, they said it dates between 1509, when Henry and Catherine first married, and 1533, when their marriage was annulled. And it suggests a date around 1521 is what they're saying. And they said it probably was commissioned work by Henry, celebrating his marriage, but they would give it out as prizes for like joust prizes for winning a joust, or some kind of trophy for if you won the wrestling match or something. And it comes right from there, right from that field of cloth and gold. May have even served a prize one in like a worn, or a token that was worn by an attendee. But it was this disgusting display of wealth that they would just do so that King Francis of France would be like,
they were flaunting.
Yeah, I've got to do something, one up him here and this and that. They said they found no evidence that it personally belonged to either Henry or Catherine, but the quality is such a high quality. It had to be a member of the higher nobility, or maybe high-ranking courtier, one of the courtesans. But man, can you imagine? I mean, to come across something like that, and that's why when you get the opportunity to go to a place like England, that kind of stuff can happen. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen.
Right.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, and if you follow that link, there's a picture.
Yeah, I put the link in the live chat. If you guys follow, it
is insane.
I'm just in sheer awe of this piece.
You see the picture of it all cleaned up?
Mm-hmm.
Like the chain is. How would you describe that chain? It's a super tight.
Yeah,
coiled.
And I can't remember how many links.
It
was like
super tight,
78 or something like that, gold linked.
Yeah.
For the chain.
I mean, this looks like something like the bishop would wear, or some cardinal of the time, or the pope, or something. It's incredible. Super gaudy. Like Snoop Dogg would love to wear this thing around his neck.
He might even look at that and go, "That's a little bit much, man.
It's too gaudy for me, right?" Oh my gosh,
too gaudy.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, in that link, there's a picture about halfway down in the article where it's a side by side of the pendant, the face of it, and then it's opened. If you just look at that, it's the most incredible, just necklace or whatever. I know,
speechless, literally speechless.
It is. Yeah.
And for Jeff to say that, I mean, Jeff sees his share of some amazing things.